What's going on, ballers? Rich here with a little technical note for you guys. We actually lost our recording from our traditional microphone setup for the first 15 minutes of the show. We actually had to use a backup setup that we had. So the quality may not be up to par compared to what you're used to. If you want to go ahead and skip that part and go to the traditional sounding audio, skip about 15 minutes into the episode. Besides that, hope you guys enjoy the show. We got a good one for y'all. Starting the regular episode in 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, y'all? It's Andre. On today's episode, we talk about the latest NBA news, touch on a brand new segment, and answer some user fan mail. We are the Shotcallers.
What it do, baby? It's your boys, the Shotcallers. The date is July 15th, and we are back with another podcast episode. Before we get started, let's introduce my guys. Start over. I wanted to jump right into Instagram this time. Instagram.
What it do, baby? Instagram.
Instagram.
More blasting gram.
It's what's for breakfast. Oh man.
All right, yep. Blasting grams in 3, 2, 1.
What it do, baby? It's your boys, the Shotcallers. The date is July 15th, 2019, and we are back with another episode. As always, I got my boys with me. Rich, say what up.
What up, fellas?
And to my right, I got my boy Andre.
What it do?
And as always, I'm your host, JB. Finally back after a long 2-episode hiatus. Haven't been on an episode in a while, guys.
Yeah.
We missed you. The Portland Trailblazers missed you, and we're here.
Yeah, the whole Portland beat doesn't know what to do. We've
Right
been
on.
on for too long. But before we move into some NBA news, I want to touch on our social media. We recently launched our Instagram page. That's _Shotcallers. There you will find some clips of our more hotter takes, if you will.
The hottest.
We got our link to our newly established YouTube page, so we're gonna have our audio on YouTube. Might go do some video here soon as well. Just a lot of different mediums, whatever is most convenient for you. Go ahead and hit that like button and then subscribe, that follow button, whatever it is.
Share, tell people where they can listen to it.
Yep, like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, I
all
know
that
there's a lot of
jazz.
people that still listen to music using YouTube. So
Yeah, but whatever's
We're out there
best
for
for you.
you.
Throw it on your living room TV while you're doing some chores, washing some dishes, listen to the Shotcallers.
yeah, we're on Spotify. Check all that out. Again, the Instagram page is _Shotcallers. And then we also are on Twitter at Shotcaller Show. That's at Shotcaller Show.
That's where you'll find the link to the YouTube channel until we get our URL.
Yep. And then, of course, send us any messages, anything you'd like us to go over to shotcallershow@gmail.com. But without further ado, I want to jump into some news. So how do we want to do this, boys? We want to talk about the Adam Silver stuff?
Yeah, let's talk about the
Or
tampering
finals?
first.
Okay,
Let's
we'll save the bomb for a little after.
Yeah, everybody knows what happened, but I guess let's see. Adam Silver had a press conference talking about kind of the state of the NBA and the state of today's rules in terms of tampering, which I guess will lead us to the next movie bomb, and what really is possible as far as player movement and this whole player empowerment era. I just really want to open up. We all know that there's a moratorium where deals can be made, and nobody but Mitch Kupchak of the Charlotte Hornets actually adheres to the rules as to when a teams can reach out to players. That was actually like a thing with the Lakers when the Lakers, Mitch Kupchak was running the show, along with Jeannie Buss's brother.
Just complaining because everyone's cheating.
All the other NBA teams were reaching out to superstars trying to get things going, and they were diligently waiting, doing their job.
Can't you actually open a tampering
Investigation, which is
yeah.
exactly what Anthony Davis, he asked for a trade. He got fined $50,000, and the Pelicans said, "Yo, league, go ahead and open up an investigation into what went on here because we feel like some tampering was involved, trying to get Anthony Davis on the Lakers by his agent." So, do you guys think that it's futile? Like that $50,000, is it chump change? Should the rules be enforced more strictly? Should we just get rid of the rules entirely? Or are we anarchistic? What do y'all think?
I'm glad you mentioned the money. It's such an irrelevant amount that the only way I feel these rules even make a difference is if we have some legitimate consequences, right? So I think about baseball whenever they had all the steroid stuff. I'm not confused. They lost some picks in some cases. So if you're caught doing something like that, maybe you lose your pick. Well, how ridiculous would that be? Or not ridiculous, how appropriate would that be for the severity of the very much needed punishment.
But JB, the news cycle. We need the news cycle. The fans want the news
No,
cycle.
man.
You want the news cycle?
No, we always ask for parody, but no. I don't want no parody now.
You don't want no parody?
No.
Take them away. Take the pics away.
I know last month I was all about the parody, but
No. So you want everyone to just poach them all to Brooklyn and New York?
You shouldn't even be able to trade. I heard somebody say.
Oh, just take their trade privileges away?
Get rid of trading altogether. No trade. You sign a contract. No player
Wow, that's
options.
it. You're in there forever?
5 years, all team options.
Just straight
Only
up?
the team can trade.
Yeah.
Right. So I did hear a conspiracy theory on your
I
consequences.
just hope everybody knows that I'm being satirical.
I mean,
No, you're definitely serious.
I did hear a conspiracy theory from the legendary Bill Simmons saying that when Paul George wanted to go to the Los Angeles Lakers last year, and it was all public, all Los Angeles Lakers, and we all got stunned last year when he signed a 4-year deal to remain in OKC, that behind the scenes, the league, Adam Silver, was like pulling a David Stern and basically said, you can't sign with the Lakers. That's the punishment. You can't go there. Now that you tried to go there, you can't go. You go anywhere else you want to go, but you can't go there after losing our integrity.
Well.
All right, what do you think, Andre?
The only problem there is how do you have to establish legitimacy behind the talks, right?
Yeah, you got to
get into an actual. Yeah, who's gonna do that? Who's gonna go and figure out? You're gonna look at text messages. What are you gonna do?
What to what? Say that they confirmed that they wanted to send him to this place.
Let me tell you the two problems there. So number one, you're the Lakers. You're the the Pacers, right?
Yeah.
That you're trying to get Paul George, and I'm the Pelicans. I also want Paul George. I just use Pelicans because they're relevant, right? But I'm the Pelicans. I'm like, you know what? I really like Paul George. I think we should offer him the max come free agency, and then bam, and then I find out, the Lakers are interested. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna plant the story and say that the Lakers were talking to Paul George, and then you just start this mess.
I mean,
You're just dropping seeds for rumors, but how do you track all that?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
How do you track it
impossible.
either way?
Like even so, just talk amongst players. So all right, OKC went out and immediately Russ was talking to Harden, saying, "Hey, let's play together." And Harden's he's still in the playoffs, but the rumors are coming out saying that Russ was talking to him as soon as they got eliminated.
But the players can tamper.
Yeah.
That's not.
Players can tamper, but
Yeah. I mean, at that point, I don't even think it matters to have any tampering rules because
the players are going to play.
Those are main recruiters.
Right.
So whether or not there's a harsher punishment,
I do like that.
What?
Yeah,
You can't go there. You can't go there anywhere but
that would scare the hell out of us.
That is
too.
definitely a punishment a parent would come up with. Yeah. But you say that like the players are the main,
Yeah,
the agents of change.
Who recruited everybody that signed with the new team this year?
Kyrie.
Every recruited Kevin Durant or
Kawhi recruited Paul George. Tried to recruit Kevin Durant.
But
tried to recruit Jimmy Butler.
The Clippers were doing a lot to, Kawhi Leonard before.
Yeah, they were stalking the hell out of him.
Trying to get his logo and all that other stuff.
I think in that regard, yes, you probably should have something in place. I don't know about not letting them go there because then what's the player's fault?
So would you say
what if I really want to go somewhere and then the team just fucks it up? I'm screwed.
Well, that's kind of what I was gonna think about a little bit later on in the segment. So as we move forward to the bomb or the trades that happened, but Kawhi Leonard, he's on the Clippers not for a 4-year maximum deal, he's there for a 3-year with a player option
in the third.
So it's matching you line up with Paul George's contract. So who knows what's gonna happen after that?
I think it's futile to even have the tampering rule because it's a player-run league at this point. At least when in regards to free agency, what does it matter? So if the players can't tamper, those are the guys making all the rules now. Kawhi got somebody to trade somebody. How does that happen?
Chris Paul literally making the rules and getting these contracts.
Exactly.
Being able to be signed for a 38-year-old plus player,
$44 million,
stuff like that.
Oh
these giant contracts for these guys.
It's like if this is where they have their power, just let them have it.
So what does it say for the small market team? What if you're Milwaukee without Giannis Antetokounmpo? What if you're Minnesota Timberwolves and you're just not going to attract somebody to these climates and these environments where they may have winning basketball and good organizations, but just not the cachet to say we also got models in South Beach.
But are the current tampering rules kind of prevent that as it is now? Do you think that's helpful?
I don't think the tampering rules have the Supermax, the tampering rules have done nothing to help the small market. So then why even have them?
So are they screwed?
No, they're not screwed because who has won the most champions? Who's won the most champions in the last 10 years?
I mean, I had to count it, but
the San Antonio Spurs. They drafted that. Not Toronto.
I wasn't gonna. I wanted to go in on that, but you did let me say.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
It's all right.
The Spurs, right? They drafted well. and it's homegrown talent. You can do it. And yes, we can talk about how great Popovich is. Oh, we looked into Tim Duncan because Robinson was fucking hurt the year before. I get that. Yeah, but you just need one guy, and then you build a culture where that guy wants to stay, and that's it, right? Yes, the reality of the situation now is that teams are pairing up, but I think it's starting to dilute. We went from the big three to the ultimate five with the Hamptons five. Now we're down to two of those. Before you know it, we'll be right back to where it's like the team basketball is going to win it. Look at the Nuggets. The Nuggets out there are not a big market. They have really strong talent. They have a really strong core. They're coming back. They're very young. They continue. They build on what they did last year. And who's to say the Nuggets can't win this year? This is probably the best chance for them to win it because a bunch of duos are going to beat that team. I mean, I would probably gamble and say, let me put my money on the Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals if they make it there against the Clippers. I would. Would you be willing to say, yeah, the Clippers are going to run over them the way that we've been thinking about the Warriors?
We don't know anything. They got to fill up their point guard position. They got to fill up their center position.
Everyone knew before.
With the Warriors, we always knew,
before our own conclusion. And what did it take for them to lose?
They lost twice.
They lost their not two best players. They lost two of their best three.
Yeah, you just don't know what's gonna happen.
Nothing to take away from the Raptors, but what I'm saying is,
no, I know what you mean. The most clear cut. The most fun part is that it's summer and we don't feel like we know. Whereas the past 5 summers we felt like we really
there's like 7 teams in the mix this season. It's
crazy. It's like 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, and then it's the twos.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially in the Western Conference. So to go back to the original point, I don't think anti-tampering rules. I don't think the Supermax, I don't think the bird rights, none of that have really done anything for the small market. So let's just let the players create Twitter havoc.
At least for a while, because we don't know what's going to happen in the
Don't worry. As soon as they figure out how to monetize free agency beyond just those long segments on
press conferences and stuff.
Yeah. And sponsored tweets.
Sponsored tweets.
Hey, 5 miles. 5 miles. Sponsored KD's tweet. Guaranteed.
But everyone hated the
boardroom Instagram. Is that what you're talking about, or the decision?
The decision. Yeah, everyone hated the decision.
Well, and then
they're gonna rip KD. They're gonna rip Woj out of the equation. I'm telling you.
I don't know, but Woj has a lot of power, man.
I know he does, but when they start monetizing it, why wouldn't you Woj just go directly?
Woj is known as the 31st franchise. Like you were saying, who's planting like seeds in this organization? It's Woj, man.
Like that's creating his own stories.
Investigate Woj.
I think we do need to look into that. Woj gate.
That'd be pretty wild.
Oh, by the way, this isn't on our agenda, but did you guys hear that what the GM from the Nets said?
What is that?
They found out about KD signing with them the same time we all did.
When Woj
they kind of just fell in their lap.
They didn't even meet with Durant.
They saw that
Durant just said, "I'm going to Brooklyn." And they're like,
"Oh, all right."
That's kind of ridiculous on KD part, huh?
We're not. That brought up the point of like, well, what if they didn't want him? They wanted him, but it's like, what if we didn't want him?
It's like, okay.
It just shows you how different it is, right?
So the players have all the power.
Yeah, why even have temper room?
Like, look,
a guy literally committed to a place, and the damn management didn't even know he was coming in.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I
love it though.
Yeah, me too. And like, not exactly on the point we're making right now, but we got all these duos set up. All these players are paired up with where they want to go. It seems as though, barring anything like crazy happening or something that we can't foresee right now, everybody's locked up for a couple of years. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, a couple of years.
KD, Kyrie,
a couple of years. KD, Kyrie, a couple of years. LeBron, AD, a couple of years. Russell Westbrook, James Harden,
KD and Kyrie 3 or 4 years, right?
Yeah, 4 years at least. Not maximum. They left some money on the table to let DeAndre Jordan be there for a couple of years, so we're not going to have to worry about him moving. Biggest free agent we're going to see is Draymond Green and Dwight Howard.
Woo! Next year.
Well, Dwight Howard right now. We're on Dwight Howard watch right now.
Yeah, you're right. Drew Holiday is 21. Yeah.
He's 21 years old.
2021.
Oh, gotcha. I was like, no way.
Drew Holiday,
2021. Can't believe it.
21.
Almost as young as Tatum.
So we buried the lead on this one. We got a giant Woj bomb, the latest one that we can think of, unless we're going to find one out after the show.
You never know, man. It's going to be the day before opening game, preseason, and another Woj bomb's going to fall. No, actually, when does free agency end officially, where you can't just, like, trade? No, the trade deadline extends all the way through the season, right?
Well, you just can't trade people that you signed until December 16th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay,
that's
cool,
the only thing.
Cool.
Or
Well,
19th.
Barring any other Woj bombs, the big one to kind of wrap up free agency has to be Chris Paul and a bunch of picks to Oklahoma City in exchange for Russell Westbrook reuniting with his old buddy James Harden from the 2012 NBA Finals run. What do you guys think? Can they repeat some of that success in Houston?
I think they got better. Go ahead, Andre.
Like, I feel like they got better, but like, how is D'Antoni's system going to work with a guy who shoots sub 30% from the 3-point line? Is he going to be the playmaker straight up and Harden playing off ball most of the time? Are they going to share duties, or are they going to let Russ drive up and shoot? Because I'm sure Russ would love to shoot those threes, but they probably not going to go in.
For a guy that's high on Ben Simmons, I don't think you want to criticize.
No, I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying D'Antoni hasn't shown to adjust.
Well, I think the biggest positive there is the pace, right? Russell Westbrook definitely can keep up with the pace, if not elevate the pace of that offense. I think the biggest thing is for him to actually take a back seat. The guy that's gonna handle the ball, gonna have the majority of the ball handling duties, is gonna be, of course, James Harden. They just need to run a lot of what they ran in Oklahoma City. I think they ran a lot of, where he was off ball there, and they had a lot of success, even though, everybody thought of Russell Westbrook as the point guard in OKC. If you look at that 2012 run, they had a lot of their success when he was off ball, and that's why a lot of people. There was even a story back then where it's like, should James Harden be the point guard? Yada, 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 right? Kind of that narrative.
Right.
And if you look at a lot of their old tape and a lot of their old footage, they ran a lot of the offense where, even if Russell Westbrook brought it across half court, he would hand it off, and then he would come off like a pin down screen. He would screen for the pin down, and then KD would come off of it. Of course, you have KD, so it looks super pretty. But even then, when you're running a lot of that pistol offense, you should be able to play off ball and then slash to the rim. That's a lot of what LeBron did in his early Heat days.
Right, and I agree with you. Like, I think that's the way that they'll need to play to be successful. But I'm just curious if Russ can do it again.
We've
it's been
seen
a while
James
since I've seen
Harden
him do
and
that.
Russell Westbrook just sit behind, like
Yeah.
not at the 3-point line, like way off from the 3-point line with their hands on their knees, not paying attention when the ball's not going to go their way. But I do think it's better than some people might think it is for a slightly different reason. I think Russell Westbrook's going to handle the ball a lot more. I think James Harden is like, I didn't win the damn MVP again after rescuing this team from the 14th seed and balling out in the Western Conference. Giannis is great and all, but I know he feels like he should have won it. And he doesn't win, goes to the Players MVP Awards and doesn't win once again. And I doubt he wants to put on a high usage performance again this season.
And get
and get
snubbed
nothing.
again,
You know what I
right?
mean?
Yeah.
So he's going to let Russell Westbrook handle the ball. Russell Westbrook is super explosive. He's in the best year of his current contract this year. Let's take advantage. Let him, run the offense, get the dump offs to Capella. He knows how to do that. Steven Adams is right there. In Oklahoma City, he knows how to do the same thing with Clint Capella. Clint Capella knows how to roll to the rim, and he can actually pass out to people that can shoot on this team.
And he can rebound.
Not Jeremy Grant. Yeah, he can rebound. And the big thing is, I think they're going to stagger them like they did with Chris Paul, but maybe even a little bit more. Maybe keep their minutes down a little bit. It takes a buy-in from both of them, but that lets that team run with Russell Westbrook as opposed to being slow as hell like they do with James Harden, because James Harden will dribble his ass up the court kind of slow, ISO, because he's got to conserve his energy for that isolation. So if they're sharing the court duties or splitting the court duties, it lets them run fast. Austin Rivers, whatever, go a little slower with PJ Tucker and Tyson Chandler when James Harden has the ball. So I think they definitely upgraded just for the sheer athleticism.
I mean, just as far as just pure talent, definitely upgraded. I think I'm with you overall that they're going to get better. I think the biggest thing that you touched on is the amount of spacing he's going to have, because he has the best shooters he's had like ever. So the fact that he has those shooters around him, he's going to have a lot more space. What he needs to understand, though, is now that you have that space, that means do not settle for the mid-range jumper.
Yeah, the
because
early
that's
shot
the
clocks.
problem. He doesn't shoot in rhythm. He shoots from mid-range where he's not even very good. He actually, if you wanted to play devil's advocate and say, why do I think they're going to get worse? He shoots that mid-range despite taking a shitload of shots from mid-range. He shoots it at sub 40. Chris Paul shoots it at plus 55%.
That's for sure.
So, why would I think that they're going to get better unless he really adapts his game and says, I am going to be a finisher. I'm going to be a finisher, and I'm going to draw the defenders. I'm going to open up the floor, and I'm going to dish it out to PJ Tucker, to Eric Gordon. I'm going to dish it out to James Harden. And James Harden should be happy with that.
He's great on catch
because
and
he's
shoot.
like, oh, I don't have to step back. I can just catch and shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I will do that. And of course, he's never going to be that open. James Harden demands way too much attention,
Which is great.
which is great for Russ.
Yeah.
Like, why do people think that that's not going to work? If anything, it works perfectly. Yes,
And
James
the-
Harden is going to be the primary ball handler, but when the ball is in Russell Westbrook's hands,
Good things should happen.
yes, they should happen. And then,
The other thing I wanted to say to go with your point is like, Andre, tell me if you've ever seen this before. Russell Westbrook takes the ball up with 2 minutes to go on the shot clock, or at the end of the game, and it's like, man, we need to get a 3
2 minutes left on the game.
in the game.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
you got to get a 3 up here. These guys can't create. The best shot we have is mine right now. 20
Right
seconds,
now.
20 seconds,
20
to go
seconds on the shot clock.
Let's just
Just
chunk
pull
it.
up.
Exactly. You ever seen that before?
I've seen that many
I
times.
have seen that.
That shouldn't happen
He doesn't
That
have to
anymore.
do that
should never
anymore. He
happen.
said, "Here you go, James.
It
You do it.
shouldn't. Yes, exactly.
You do
exactly.
it." And he loves, as much as I hate to say it, he is a stat patter. So now all he has to do is go sit under the rim. If James misses, he gets the rebound.
Yep.
We know he's one of the best rebounding point guards of like ever, right? And he can put it back. He can get his numbers up. He enjoys rebounding. He enjoys getting those assists. He enjoys getting those rebounds. He's a triple-double machine. We saw him take a step back to Paul George last year to facilitate for him. He has an even better offensive weapon now. Why would he not be better? He just needs to reduce the amount of shots that he takes from the mid-range. Just be a finisher. Be a slasher to the rim. Let your athleticism do it. Don't go 100 miles an hour all the time. And just be smart. He's smart enough to dish it out when he feels confident. I don't think he's ever really felt confident to say, I'm going to throw it out to, what, Schroeder?
Guy.
Rick Patterson.
Guy
Or
that's
damn
not
it,
Paul George.
Or Schroeder, right? Like, ugh. I think he doesn't have that confidence. Now he's like, oh, if I throw it out to James Harden,
It's James.
he's going to cook him.
Exactly. Yeah, and like they just need more tough guys. After that series where they lost to the Warriors, like those guys coming out of the locker room, some reporting from The Athletic came out saying that some of those guys like PJ Tucker, James Harden were like, we need tough dudes. And Chris Paul's pretty tough. He's feisty. He's really annoying to some people. But Russell Westbrook is without a doubt really tough. He goes hard, plays hard, and gives us all and inspires his rest of the team to do the same thing. So I'm higher on them than most, like I said.
Yeah, I think the synergy compact or component is like the most important thing on top of getting more talent overall. Like Chris Paul has been known to be a little bit decisive in the locker room, and
Divisive?
Yeah,
And
Buzz-
decisive. Both work.
divisive.
Oh, he's not divisive? I thought
he
that was.
is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But Russ and Harden, they're childhood friends. They played 4 years together in OKC. They already know. They know how to work well with each other. I think he'll be a good leader in the locker room.
Yeah, I also ultimately think Russell is tired of losing.
Yeah.
I think they're both tired of
At some
losing.
point, you're just like,
Oh, but at least Harden's getting to the Western Conference Finals in the
Yeah.
second round.
I think
Yeah.
Russ is gonna be like, well, fuck, I'm tired of this shit. Let's go actually make something happen. I want to get out of the first round. If that means that James Harden is the guy that leads us there, let's do it. I mean, he didn't have a problem with it in 2012. It didn't seem like.
So
And there was 2 other guys that he had to deal with.
that's for sure. And
Yeah.
so the other half of the trade, who was the other guy that went out? He went to OKC. It was Chris Paul. So
Oh yeah, that guy.
Chris
I was
Paul.
like, what?
No, I
Like,
guess I
what?
made it seem
There's
like it was,
someone
it was
else?
The
another
way you
guy.
said it was very confusing.
They put someone else over there.
He doesn't. The reports say that he's not going to be in an Oklahoma City Thunder uniform when the season starts.
Yeah.
Without we can speculate where he might end up next season. Maybe Miami, maybe the Lakers, but it depends on what the contract situation is. But is he an asshole? Like, that's the question?
I think it's pretty well understood at this point that he's an asshole.
Yeah, man. Did you not see the report about the man boobs?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw him squeezing James Harden's man boobs.
That's hilarious. I
Yeah.
can't believe they fell for that. If nobody knows, there's a
But
false
there was,
report about.
but there
man
was
boobs.
video of him squeezing
Yeah.
man boobs.
They were
Yeah.
in shoot around.
But nobody was mad. Yeah.
Nobody was mad. They're just fucking around.
But yeah,
Um,
like think of him like a coworker you go to work with. Would you enjoy having your cubicle next to his?
Cliff Paul, maybe. I
Let's-
don't know about
let's
Chris.
Let's look at Chris Paul's resume of incidences. He is the only one to really kind of publicly call out. I don't know about this one, but publicly call out a female ref.
Yeah.
He led the charge at the Staples Center to get into the opponent's locker
Oh,
room.
you're saying that
Yeah.
that Trojan horse where they had Clint Capella knock on the
Knock
door.
on the front
Hey,
door.
I'm a nice guy, and then he comes to the back and starts fucking shit up.
He did that. Yeah, I mean, all the reports saying that they don't get along. Like, that's James Harden's team, but he just wants to impose his will. I think some people were saying he went from being a guy ISO to not wanting to do ISO because he
He
sucks at
couldn't beat
ISO
his
now.
guy anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Shit like
Beat
that.
your own, I mean, him and Blake Griffin not getting along, and the personality's not meshing because Blake Griffin's not super confrontational, where Chris Paul definitely is. That one, everyone remembers that one highlight where DeAndre Jordan gets the ball on a rebound with like a half a second to go, and he can still shoot. And Chris Paul is like
just jumping,
levitating in the air, yelling at him to shoot. But he probably has that, and justifiably so. DeAndre Jordan should have shot that shit and known time and score, like J.R. Smith, which we'll get to later on in the show.
Yeah.
But you can bet that Chris Paul has been like that in other regular situations too. So
yeah,
I don't think I'd want to work with him.
I think in that particular situation, DeAndre Jordan deserved whatever was said to him.
Right.
But I think
it's like that otherwise.
Yeah. I don't think he's an asshole actually. I don't think he's actually an asshole like in real life. It's just his competitive nature, and maybe he's got a little bit of he's not short. He's like by our standards, but
Napoleon complex.
He's got a Napoleon complex. You heard it here first on the Shotcallers.
Not necessarily.
No, they say.
Well, he's shorter than everybody else, but not even that. I think he is on somewhat of a high horse because he is the president of the Players Association. That can play something into it. Like I'm the president.
Yeah, I represent you guys.
If you fucking shit like that. I don't know. That can happen. People are petty, dude.
And there's reports of coming out where some players, maybe wrongfully or rightfully so, are angry about the maxes that we were talking about for older players and max extensions. How they worry more about the older players, today's current older players, like LeBron's generation. The Banana Boat Crew is a quote that came out
like the
instead of the middle class.
So it's like tax cuts for the rich, and the rest of us are kind of.
I could see that. I could see that. I could definitely see that. People are petty in all ranges.
Walks of life.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how rich you are, or this brotherhood of basketball goes out the door when it comes to
someone's money.
Getting yours.
Yeah, getting yours and having a huge ego. I mean, there's even little instances of him kind of coming off as a kind of a prick, like that one time where he's like pretending like he's saying what's up to, I don't remember which player, but he's like he's like laughing, and then as soon as he turns around he fucking changes.
Oh, that was Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr, right? Oh yeah, he was saying what's up, Steve Kerr. Turns around, he's just like fuck this guy. So that kind of tells you what kind of person he is. Like, who does that? Like, you're being fake then. Like, if you don't like him, don't even go.
I think in that instance,
I'm not gonna go dab up somebody that I don't like, right?
I think in that instance he was making fun of like something that happened earlier, but in general.
So with how strong-willed
he's not an asshole, I don't think.
Oh, okay. So
I think he's just a very intense person who can't turn it off.
You can be just a little bit of a prick, especially when you're competing against somebody. Like, I can see somebody just being kind of a little bit of a prick to you, and some people are, especially the new generation, right?
Or
they don't like that.
We're about to say the M word on this.
No, not that. Just the new generation of basketball players. They're a little bit softer.
You said the M word?
Yeah,
Muggles?
Millennials.
that has happened in different areas. I mean, like you said, all walks of life. People are a little bit sensitive, and maybe the people he's played with are like that, and it rubs him the wrong way.
Maybe he just hasn't found the person for him to run with him with the same mentality. So the other thing that happened very recently breaking was J.R. Smith. Oh wait, before J.R. Smith, where do you think he'll end up, Chris Paul? Do you think he will hang on to his money?
Oh, he's got to hang on to his money.
So you don't think he'll get bought out for a lower amount?
They have to agree to that, right?
Yeah, he has to say, all right, I'll save you this much money if I can go elsewhere.
It goes back to how
he fought for all this money.
Well, it goes back to not integrity. I don't think.
Well, the reason why he took that big contract to begin with, right?
I think it goes back to whether he can swallow his pride and say, okay, yes, I fought for this money, I got it, and I'd really rather go win. Either way he goes, I won't judge him. If he wants to go win, that's fine. If he goes to the Lakers, I'll fucking hate him. But if he keeps the money, I mean, he signed it. They signed it for him. I mean,
yeah, I just wonder if Miami can swing a trade.
What does Miami have?
Like, what's more important for him? Oh, they just Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, you'd have to give up like just his wins.
They gotta
I don't know if you want to do that.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
I mean, Chris Paul is a good player.
Yeah, but like, you think that
you want to take that
Justice
contract?
Winslow taking on that contract, you're gonna win next to Jimmy?
I think that the Miami organization is.
I'm like, maybe
they're in the East, you know.
I just thought about it. Like, yeah, maybe
the Miami organization is like, all right, we'll fight for a 5th, 4th seed. We're happy with that.
Yeah, they'll try their hardest to contend no matter what.
If they can make a trade and keep Justice Winslow, that would actually be very good on the Heat, I think. So I would give him praise for that.
Is that where you think he'll land?
Yeah. If I had to bet, I'd say that. I don't think he's gonna stay.
I think if he goes anywhere, he'll end up getting bought out and go to the Lakers.
Oh,
it would really help. It would really fit a big hole for them.
Isn't he gonna give up like $40 million if he does that?
Maybe
because he gives up like 11 a year or something like that.
Yeah, I think he has to do that.
Ridiculous.
I mean, so if he gets bought out,
He goes from like 160 to like 115.
He can then
or
sign a
something like
contract
that.
with the Lakers, right?
Yeah, but they don't have space to give him like any kind of money.
But I think they could be like, wink, wink. Here's a Space Jam 2 roll.
Oh my
What?
gosh.
man.
Oh my
The
god.
over tampering. This is what
They're gonna
Silver was
give-
talking
they're
about
gonna
right
give him
here.
40
It's
million.
LeBron over there.
They're gonna give him 40
That's
million.
Warner Brothers
It's
front.
L.A.
end, though.
Bron.
No, you know why it won't happen?
Why?
Rondo's on that team.
Oh no!
Oh yeah, you forgot the other
You
fight
forgot that
he
fight.
Yeah,
instigated.
you're right. The spit
Mhm.
fight.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Spitgate.
It'd make me mad too.
I don't know, man. It looked like there was two spitters. Not
But-
buying the original story.
Yeah. So Chris Paul could be a good fit on the Lakers. J.R. Smith got waived. Where do you think he ends up? Do you think he gets picked up?
Not by the Lakers. I think LeBron
Well, it's
has
already reported he's not going to the Lakers.
washed his hands of that guy.
I don't know. Bring him to the Mavericks. Little swag.
I don't think he's the type of player the Mavericks like. Not
does that mean?
intelligent.
I don't think he's the type of player that
Not
likes the
I don't
Mavericks.
think he's dumb, Andre. He had
I didn't-
he's had several lapses, but he's had more bright spots.
Yeah, just
How many years ago were those bright
I
spots?
don't know. He's a
Like-
championship. He's a champion.
Okay.
He was a legitimate.
He was. That was his
role
last.
player
I feel like that was
on
his last. No, 2017 was his last really
that
good year.
washes you of all those things. That washes you of the Jason Terry dab up during inbound.
The open lane.
That there's a lot of.
What do you think,
instances.
Richard? Do you think we should take a chance on it?
I think the Utah Jazz could benefit from signing him.
Oh,
That'd be
Jazz.
interesting. Yeah.
They need to make a little move here or there to be able to like
They need to. Yeah.
re-engage and kind of get a little bit of a one-upsmanship on these
Those-
Clippers that
those
stole their thunder.
Those
after
Jazz
Bruce
are a
Brown.
dark horse, man.
Oh,
But they
yeah,
were
I like them.
They were a regular horse, and then Kawhi Leonard went to the Clippers. Now they're the dark horse
They're a
again.
dark horse for sure.
So
I think Jazz would be a good fit for him.
To quote the great Andre, basketball is good.
either that or the Philadelphia 76ers. They needed the shooting. If you can shoot,
Yeah, that's
That
true.
would be
If
interesting.
he
Yeah.
can shoot, they can use that. No, that's we gave J.R. Smith a whole minute.
too much time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's enough for Jr.
What's next on the agenda? Lob it up.
No, we got challenge flags. Some of you are making the challenge flag motion.
The next thing, recently they Adam Silver, was it Adam Silver or was it just kind of?
No, it was a rule implemented for this year by the Board of
Oh,
Governors.
yeah, you're right.
At
We
the
got specifics on that. It's like 2 challenges.
No, they get one challenge. So
Okay.
the NBA instituted a rule where NBA coaches can institute a challenge as long as they have a timeout available.
I'm just upset there's no physical flags.
Right, and so I was gonna mention that too. So
Just
they
throw a
can
flag at the
they can
rim.
challenge fouls on their own players.
Frisbee.
So if Rick Carlisle's coaching and JJ Barea fouls someone, he can challenge whether or not that was a foul, but he can't challenge if something should have been a
So
foul.
no
on the
calls.
other
You can't
team.
challenge a no
Can't
calls.
challenge no call. Can't challenge the other team. You can challenge whether or not something was out of bounds. So that Kevin Durant fiasco.
my
That
gosh.
should. I'd be mad if I
Are
had
you
used a
talking about
challenge
where-
on that.
Exactly.
You talking about where he set up camping out out of bounds?
Yes,
Yep.
and then you can also challenge goaltending.
Annex the.
You can
area.
you can challenge goaltending and you can challenge basket interference too. If there's not a challenge available and a coach calls a timeout, you will get a technical foul. So you could see somebody getting giving away some points.
You
For-
mean wait?
If you don't have any timeouts left and you try to challenge,
You have to have timeouts. That makes sense.
Yes.
Okay. You have to have timeouts to be able to challenge. Do you get your challenge back if you're right?
you don't get your challenge back if you're right.
But do you get your
Boo!
timeout? You get to keep your. Does he use up a timeout?
I don't think it uses up the
If
timeout.
you're wrong, it's not. You don't use a timeout.
If your challenge is unsuccessful, you lose the timeout.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
If
Like
your
football.
challenge is successful, you keep that timeout.
But you don't get another challenge.
Right.
That's the only where. That's where it varies from the NFL. The
And
NFL, you get 2
I'm
challenges.
sure the NBA wants to be different from the NFL in every way that they can be.
But the challenge is very good in the NFL.
No, I understand,
You
and,
get
and
two
this
challenges.
is the first rule. So this is the first year. It could
We'll
expand.
see what happens.
You get it
Uh,
right, you get your challenge back. If you get it wrong, you lose a timeout.
So the way they trigger a challenge is by calling a regular old timeout, and then they do the twirly motion that every player does after every controversial anything. And I'm a fan.
Looks like
because
baseball.
That just means that yeah, for sure. I'm a fan of the motion because that means that the coach can't just do it willy nilly.
Yeah.
And I get tired of everybody twirling their fingers all around all the time.
Same
So,
review it.
so one less person doing the challenge motion.
I'm an advocate for having a huge buzzer at each end of the score table and you have to go slam it.
Yeah, you got to race. You got like a 10
Oh,
second.
that would be really tight. Yeah, you gotta get down there.
You gotta get down
and
there.
hit it like Temple of the Hidden
Legend of the Hidden
Legend
Temple.
of the Hidden Temple, like on Nickelodeon back in the day.
Shit, that'd be amazing.
Gotta run. That would be awesome.
Can you imagine? Like fucking fireworks.
Carlisle.
coming out.
Slipping on some.
Some
But
confetti pops out of
The
there.
coaches got to
It's
get
only one
slimmer
challenge.
to get down there in time. You know, no more Sandman's not gonna make it down there.
Nope.
Tom Thibodeau's not gonna
They
make
gotta
it down
start. Get rid of the suits. You gotta wear a
there.
uniform.
Track suits.
Yep.
You gotta go.
Like
No,
Slim
you-
down. Get your cleats. Got your,
Now you
your
gotta-
blocks down there.
Oh, wear uniforms.
Yeah, you gotta do it like baseball. The managers gotta wear the fucking whole uniform.
Man, that would be tough.
That's good though. I mean, I guess it's good that they don't get it back because I could see this.
Just an endless cycle
Yeah.
of challenges, especially
Yeah.
in the last 2 minutes. Like, oh, I got it back. I'm gonna challenge you again. I'm gonna
So
What if
now-
they had one per half though? What do you think? Or let the first half
One per half
play
and
out.
you lose it.
Yeah.
You
Well,
lose it at the half.
People that watch basketball
not
all
bad.
the time, like we do, and our listeners probably do, they probably don't want the games to be any
Slow
longer.
down. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're going with
yeah, I
one
was
for the
gonna. I was
moment.
about to say. I think the reason it's fine like this too, and they want to do it, is they don't want to create challenges for the sake of challenging.
Right.
It's got to be like, I'm challenging this because this is gonna dictate the rest of the game. So like the Durant thing, you're in fucking overtime with like 2 minutes left, and he's sitting out of bounds grabbing the ball, and they don't call it. Like, okay, we're gonna
Building the
challenge you.
fire.
So what would it do if in that case? What would happen? And I know you probably don't have all the rules laid out, but what would happen in that case? Because they hit a 3 off of that. If you challenge it and they're wrong, they just take away the 3 points.
Well, you wouldn't have a timeout in that situation either.
Why wouldn't you?
You can't call one on when the opposing
Okay,
team has the
that's what I'm
ball.
saying. So they shoot it and then I call timeout. Can I challenge it?
I guess you really couldn't challenge that far back. I think it would just be if your player stepped out of bounds and they called you out of bounds, then you could challenge that.
So you can't. Oh, you can't challenge no
No
calls.
call,
Okay,
yeah.
that is
Dang.
kind of bad.
Well, we really don't want that to ever happen again, so they should change that at
yeah,
least.
exactly.
Um,
Cool. I think it's good. Just speaks
Step
to
in the
Adam
right
Sil-
direction at the
This
very
makes-
least.
Yeah,
They
just
wouldn't have
speaks to Adam Silver's
implemented it.
progression.
They wouldn't have implemented it if it wasn't successful in the G League, and they tested it in the G League this whole past year and had some positive results because it felt as though the coaches had another chip to kind of influence the game. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I like it.
I'm up on it too. That's for
Yeah.
sure. I'm excited. To
Maybe
see it.
then they'll adopt the Euro
basket interference rule?
rule.
Yeah, where you can just take it off the rim when it's kind of rolling
Rolling
as a
around.
defender. Carmelo used to do that a lot when he was playing on the famous Olympic Melo.
You just pull it off the rim.
Yeah,
That's
like-
kinda-
Snatch it down.
I don't
yeah.
mind that.
and it's kind of smart, you know. And it was smart in the moment when I saw Melo doing that because he doesn't play by those rules all the time, but had the presence of mind to do so. I hope I
That's
see
a
him
good
on
adjustment. Yeah.
I hope I see him on a team this year. The only thing stopping him is himself, so hopefully he gets over it.
Oh, did y'all see that Chauncey Billups? Sorry, I'm not trying to stray, but did y'all see that Chauncey Billups interview
Where he
about
said
Melo?
it's because of him.
Yeah, well, where he said, yeah, playing with the reason Melo never had like long-term success, like in the playoffs or anything, is because if we won and he scored under 30, he would be moping around. But if we lost and he scored over 30, he'd be the one picking guys up saying
It's all right.
it's all right. So he was happier in
To
a
get
loss where
his.
he put up 30 plus than in a win where he didn't shine. Hopefully his mentality has changed since then. I mean, it was several years ago since he played with Chauncey Billups, but if he's still in that mindset, he's not going to
Yeah,
ever be
that's-
able to help a contender.
He's not going to be able to play again because
Yeah.
there's probably
Nobody
not someone
wants
who
that.
wants to come off the bench.
I don't think he will. Yeah, exactly. He's got to be like Dwight Howard. He's got to kill the ego.
Yep.
But Dwight Howard says that every year.
Yeah.
We're on Dwight Howard Carmelo watch.
Yeah.
So next we actually have a new segment coming up.
Oh, yeah. Something that
Got
Rich
some awards.
came up with. Some awards.
The NBA
Richard,
awards show's not done
Do
yet.
we call
We
these
got
the
us.
Dick Awards? It's Richard.
Dick Awards.
Let's not do that. Oh man, I can't.
The
escape that.
Dickies.
The Dickies? You like that one?
Jesus Christ.
Oh, man.
No, I don't.
All right, Richard, what you got for us?
So it's kind of a new segment. I was inspired a little bit by just the award season. You know, we had the Oscars and all that stuff earlier this year, and then we had the players awards or the NBA awards where Giannis won the MVP, and then also the NBA Player Association awards. And so I was kind of thinking, you know, you guys, we're all getting pretty old. Our 10-year high school reunion anniversary is either coming up or is gone now.
Bro,
And
ours already passed. Why you got to put us on blast like that?
Everybody wants to remember those high school days.
Shit was last year.
The golden the golden years for some people. And so everyone throws out those awards like perfect attendance, most likely to exceed, best dressed. And so I kind of wanted to just throw these award names at you, and then you guys tell me which of these up and coming duos in this league or
Assisting duels?
existing duos. Yeah, the previous.
What if they're a
ones.
trio?
I mean, whatever you want to do, you get as creative with it as you
Free
want.
ball it, Andre.
I'm just gonna throw out
I want
some
a Quins.
some categories, and we'll see if you guys agree or disagree on who should get what award. So the first one's very easy. Perfect attendance. Who do you think? It could be an individual player too. Who do you think would win the perfect attendance award at the end of the 2019-2020 season?
I'm gonna go with the duo, my favorite backcourt, as you guys know, in Portland, and that's the Mama's Boys, C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard. I'll elaborate on
okay,
that.
yeah, go ahead.
So they lost a lot of their depth. You know, no more Mo Harkless, Evan Turner, I believe, is also gone. No more.
They gained some guys. They got Kent Bazemore.
Yeah, they got Kent Bazemore, but they lost Seth Curry.
Nurkic is
They did
out
keep,
for a little while.
yeah, they did keep Rodney Hood. Nurkic is still out. They did add Hassan Whiteside to kind of help replace Enes Kanter. But I think overall with that, you know, even though it's not a whole lot, they also lost Aminu. So now we got to swing some guys from the bench over to the starting lineup. And they already played several minutes last year. Like Damian Lillard, I think that was part of why you guys even mentioned he might have been exhausted in that Western Conference Final Series because of all the minutes he played throughout the season.
Out.
I think that continues. That's the only way Portland stays relevant and can actually make a run into the playoffs again. Because I think with how heavily stacked the West is, you can't afford to sit him. You can't have load management in Portland. If you do that, you're going to lose to teams you shouldn't lose to.
You can if you get Blake Griffin. But I digress. All right. So
Yeah, you got anything, Andre?
yeah, my team is I'll say Kemba Walker and Jason Tatum.
Oh, that's not what I thought you were
I
going to say.
would have said
You
Jaylen
think?
Brown, but he's kind of injury prone. Like he's had some hamstring stuff. But
All
the
those
reason,
players.
yeah. Wait, what?
With all those players, perfect attendance, right?
Yeah, I like them because Jason Tatum's young. Kemba Walker's gonna be new to that team. Jason's gonna have an expanded role since he doesn't have share as much, moving the ball around in shots, giving up shots to since there's gonna be less stars on the team. So I
you
feel
get
like
to
they're
this
gonna
jacket.
yeah. So they're gonna get a lot more time, to build synergy. Kemba obviously gonna be the focal point, but I know Jason's gonna want to, try to rebound from that bad sophomore slump he had last year. So I can see him. He's young enough to, put enough minutes in without having to worry about the stress and all that.
He
And I
just
can see
leveled
him.
up his Mamba mentality.
Yep, he's like, I ain't
no days off.
no more days off. I'm shooting it off.
I could see that.
Yeah.
He's probably wants to get his this year, and yeah, I could see him definitely being like, "Put me in, coach."
Yeah.
So I would have swung it another way. Russell Westbrook and James Harden play a hell of a lot of games. They don't miss very much outside of
They getting old now.
major.
Man. They 30.
You say that, but
They
I
30
feel
now.
like that's who I would have leaned towards. But anyway, so
But it goes back to what you said earlier. I think the reason that happens is because they're like, "Who else?" I think now they can take a day off and be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I think we're
James,
good. Yeah, 'cause
James
you
will
got
win this game."
get some
as long as
load
Eric
management
Gordon's
going.
healthy.
I think that's healthy too, to have Russell Westbrook out there without James to see what he can do and then draw up a game plan. D'Antoni is an offensive genius. He's not the greatest floor general, like as far as like let me call a timeout and drop a play. He's not very good at that. Have you listened to any of his like timeout speeches? It's pretty much we got to get a stop, guys. All right, let's go. Like so.
Yeah, I feel you. So yeah, we'll see. And so next category we got on the docket, who would win the most likely to succeed award? And you can take that.
I think that's an easy one.
What do you got?
The Claw, Kawhi Leonard, and PG-13. Third in MVP voting last year in Paul George, and the reigning Finals MVP teaming up in LA with probably the best supporting cast of any of these duos. They made the playoffs even though they weren't supposed to last year. They're only going to get better. You got guys in the paint. You got guys in the paint like oh my gosh, I'm drawing
Zubac.
Montrezl
Harrell.
Yeah, Montrezl Harrell and Zubac, who are just gonna grind in the paint, and they're
Lou
gonna
Williams,
make it so easy
Patrick
for these
Beverley.
guys. You got the 6th man of the year. You got 3 of the best on-ball defenders in the league in probably the last decade and a half. I think it's gonna be them.
So you're determining success for them by their entire team success. You think they're going to go all the way?
Yes, because
It
the
makes
Clippers,
it easier. Yeah.
the Clippers' success is all gonna be
On the championship.
on them too.
Gotcha.
Basically, if they have success, they're gonna be like, well, they're gonna attribute it to those two guys, right? Because the Clippers, as great as they were, and they were able to get into that 8th seed, right? If they're suddenly a 1st, 2nd, 3rd seed, right, we're gonna say, oh, it's because of Paul George.
Clearly, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be clearly because
all-star.
of those two guys. So yes, maybe they might not put up MVP numbers because they're gonna split so much time. I feel like that load management for Kawhi, it makes sense to continue that. But as a team, they're going to be so successful, and it's going to be attributed to them too.
What about you, Andre? What you got?
Number one seed.
It's kind of hard for me to go against that same team because I had them number 1 in the West too. So I like Paul George and Kawhi.
Do you think either of them are going to win the MVP? Is that a way you can measure success?
Maybe. I think they're going to be fighting for Defensive Player of the Year because both of those were competitors for that. They're both competitors for MVP.
When's the last time we heard about that happening? Where two guys were fighting for Defensive Player of the Year on the same
Michael
team?
Jordan and Scottie Pippen.
I mean, the Clippers just had 2 guys fighting for 6th Man of the Year.
It's pretty crazy.
So they could fight for.
And then they're fighting for a lot of accolades over there.
It won't happen. I think they're going to load manage. They want to be ready to just run over LeBron come playoff time.
Yeah,
that's what they're like. They don't care about. They don't. Those 2 guys. I don't. Paul George maybe a little bit. Maybe he wants some accolades. I think Kawhi is totally like I don't give a shit about MVP.
You're going to manage the
just
hell
give
out
me
of
the ball
his
at crunch time.
Yeah, just let's go win these playoffs. Let's go run over the entire West and let's go win another title, another 2, 3 in a row.
Steve Ballmer must be so happy, man.
They need to win one in the next 2 years, otherwise they're leaving.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, especially with the way those contracts are set up. So Giannis came out recently and said that he's at 60% of his potential. And we don't know,
Frieza.
We don't know what else is going to happen when he gets fully unleashed if he gets there.
I just hope it's not like when LeBron said he was going to activate playoff mode
We'll
and then,
see.
it just
and then a week later he's like, I'm done.
Let's hear what you.
They lost 13 out of the next 15.
Let's hear what y'all think on this this next award. It's self-explanatory. Most potential. Let's see if y'all agree or have different opinions this time. Who do you got for most potential?
Most potential for me is going to be our very own Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis. I think they are the youngest duo on this list, therefore they have the highest potential. Before Kristaps went down, he was looked as definitely a cornerstone player, and I think he can still do that. I think he is on, great progression as far as recovery goes, and we do have one of the best medical staff, so I don't think we'll have a problem keeping him healthy, and I think he will return to form. He might surprise some people and be in the talks for MVP, top 5 in contention for MVP.
Dang! All right, so that's a lot of potential.
I think he will ultimately. It's not a point guard league, and what I mean by that is a point guard is not going to lead you to a title. So the guy that's going to shine between those 2 is going to be Kristaps, but as a duo, they're going to be fireworks.
That's a fair take. Not too hot. But for me, I think I'm gonna say the entirety of the Denver Nuggets.
Oh wow!
Led by Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. I think them getting their legs up on them, getting a little bit of experience in the playoffs is gonna help them a bunch. Just having one more year to work together in a team environment, and then getting the addition of Michael Porter Jr. back. If he comes back healthy, I know he just had a knee injury, but if he can come back and contribute, I think they're going to be a scary team, man. They're going to be really good.
I always forget about Michael Porter Jr. and then Andre always reminds me, and I'm like, "Fuck, you're right." They were the number 2 seed. Yeah. That is wow. I was just thinking about 2 players. It's not fair. They're thinking about a whole damn team.
Jamal Murray and Jokic will lose some weight. That dude.
There is something to be said about continuity, and I mean Jamal Murray, as he comes into his own, people will still look at Nikola Jokic as the driving force on that team. So he could come up with an MVP and kind of upset some of the other things we've been saying.
Oh yeah.
So who knows?
I think it was kind of unfair how overlooked he was last year.
Yeah, that's for sure. People don't watch the non-national games for the most part. But so for the next one, we got Class Clown. Who's going to win the Class Clown award?
He picked the whole team.
Yeah, so what?
Use your imagination,
you
bro.
said Class Clown?
Class Clown. Can I go first? It's
Yeah,
Space
go ahead,
Jam
Andre.
team.
Let's do it.
Come on. You already know.
Oh, no.
You already know.
What's going to happen? Andre?
LeBron, AD, JaVale. It's going to be, oh, my God.
Talking about Shaq and a fool?
Yeah, it's going to be tomfoolery over there.
I mean, I forgot about JaVale. So I guess
the Lakers are either going to be really good or they're going to be struggling really bad.
Oh man, the Lakers are one bad season from just imploding. I mean, probably AD will sign regardless, but can you imagine if they just suck?
Or if they just have a bad and disappointing injury health year? Yeah, that'd be pretty wild. Rondo and JaVale McGee drag them down a little bit.
It's crazy to think that they could be like this bad too, because they got LeBron. They got AD. He's got
LeBron.
Danny Green too, and it's like,
I mean,
we're still not sure that that's a good team.
Yeah, I mean, LeBron is getting older. As much as we thought this would never happen, he is slowing down. He is getting hurt. He is human. It didn't seem like it for a few years there, but he's only getting slower, man. He is on a decline. It's weird to say that about LeBron, especially if you look at his stats from 2018. But like being hurt for that many games. That's where you kind of start declining. But
Father Time's undefeated.
my pick for Class Clowns is going to be the duo It's gonna be Kyrie and Jared Allen.
What?
Oh,
Yes.
Is Kyrie?
Have you seen that chemistry that team has?
Yeah.
They dancing around in the middle of the games, dude. They're gonna keep that alive and well, and I cannot wait to see it.
I can see
You saw them dancing. They got that little side step.
So you didn't say Kevin Durant, of course, because he's not playing.
Yeah, I didn't say Kevin Durant.
Didn't
'cause he's
expect the
not
Jared
playing.
Allen throw.
Honestly, can I throw an honorable mention?
Go
out?
ahead.
If the Rockets are really good, I can see like James Harden and Russell Westbrook
Well,
just clowning
I was
around.
gonna say the same thing.
Like-
if they were really bad, if they're ball hogging, not passing the ball, looking like Carlton and Will Smith on Fresh Prince, just chucking it at the backboard. That's what I was thinking for Class Clown.
I can see that happening.
The question is, it can be in a positive way too, right? If I think you said that in a positive way.
Yeah.
Remember the old Russell Westbrook, Cameron Payne pregame
Yeah,
dances?
that's what I was thinking.
I think James Harden could reenact that very well.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know, man. I like those little dances that Brooklyn.
I
had.
hope they're good. I really
You
do.
know
hope
what I'm
they're
talking
good.
Yeah, no, that's for sure.
They're having a lot of fun out there. And Karis LeVert is back, baby. Let's go.
That's a good team.
So next up on our list of nominees, who do you got for best bromance? I guess
I
that would
will
do us.
take the answer that Andre just said, and it's gonna be those boys in LA.
Oh, you think so?
They are so in love.
Like
Oh man.
I yearn to catch your
You seen
loves.
that Game of Zones, man, when they're talking about the tampering between them two? He's like,
LeBron and AD.
can I play power forward even though I'm clearly a center? It's hilarious. Did you see his interview yesterday? He's like, yeah, I like to play the 4, but if coach wants me to play the 5, I'll play the 5. It just reminded me so much of that. But that's such a bromance, dude. That is already like the tampering. It's like lost love. It's like Romeo and Juliet, right? Like
They couldn't have each other.
They
They were
wanted
trying
to
to
be-
keep them away.
Yeah, they were trying to keep him away, but in the end, they came back and they're together now. But then, I
Are
mean,
they gonna
Romeo
kill
and
each other?
Juliet, they
Kill
kill each other.
themselves?
But
Kill themselves.
yeah, that could be the implosion
Wow.
that we're talking about.
What you got for best
Man,
bromance?
that was a good one.
Andre?
So originally I was leaning towards Harden and Westbrook, but man, the Space Jam was so good.
Space Jam boys.
I mean, you can go with the tried and true Mama's boys.
The Mama's
Man,
boys.
they both go to the movies with their mom.
They feel like they seem like brothers who like don't.
Like actually brothers.
Yeah,
They're acting like actual brothers.
They're
Not
like
like
brothers.
Bromance is more like, bro, it's over the top.
Well, in that case, have you seen the way Doncic and Porzingis look at each other?
I was gonna pick them. That was gonna be number 2.
All right.
Man, when
that was gonna be number
when,
2.
When the Mavericks went to New York and Porzingis wasn't playing, and the next day or later that
The
week,
trade
the trade happened, and they were like,
It's happening.
they were like undressing each other with their eyes.
Oh my god.
So okay,
I love it. We need
Oh,
some of
you're-
that here.
so
You're
the-
gonna catch your loves.
the
Wow.
yeah, can't wait for the season to start, man. But the next one, little more unorthodox, maybe on the negative side, unless y'all spin it away that I don't foresee. We got the most likely to not change at all. We got all these new situations.
That's an easy one.
What do you got?
DeMar DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge. They're the most vanilla team in the NBA.
So they're just gonna
What's gonna change?
Shoot those mid range.
I'll shoot more threes.
Popovich isn't. Yeah, Popovich is gonna suddenly be like, you know what, DeMar, I need you to shoot 23s a game. He's gonna turn into D'Antoni or what? No, it's the same. It's gonna be the same old, same old. Post ups by LaMarcus Aldridge. Great defense. Very disciplined offense. They'll make it to the playoffs, and we'll see what happens
I'll
after
put a
that.
little seasoning on there. They got Deontay Murray back. He'll be.
Yeah,
you know,
no,
a
we'll see
little
some
spice.
young. We'll see some young guys pop in him, and what is it, Derek White?
Yeah, Derek
Yeah,
White.
we'll see some sparks. But as far as that duo, man,
nothing's
I don't
changing.
even feel like they talk once the season's over. Like, what happens to the Spurs players?
I
during
mean,
the
they're supposed to
offseason?
be all camaraderie and stuff, but as far
They
as
shoot a bunch of
LaMarcus
HEB
Aldridge
commercials.
does seem kind of
What
close.
happened to all the HEB commercials?
I guess we gotta go to YouTube and see if
Yeah.
they've been putting out new
Kawhi
ones.
killed it, man.
Or I ruined it.
All right, so you got anything for that one, Andre?
That's. I mean, it's just the obvious one.
What, Russell Westbrook?
Or no, the DeRozan Aldridge one.
Oh,
Like,
gotcha, gotcha.
they-
Yeah, I was
that's
gonna say
not-
Russell Westbrook still jacking up those late in the game.
See, that would be
threes.
like the saddest thing. I feel bad. I mean, I hate Houston, but I want them to do well. But that'd be pretty sad if things didn't change for them. I'd feel really bad and cheated out of potentially a very good team.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so we got one more, or two more actually, but this one probably is an easy one. You're probably gonna have the exact same answer. I want y'all to say it at the same time, so I'll count down.
All right,
All right, so best fashion sense. I'm gonna count down from 3, 2, 1.
Russ and
Westbrook
Harden.
and Harden.
Exactly, man.
Did y'all see Harden that GQ magazine shoot last year?
Is he wearing all white like Kobe?
Oh,
or
he's
what?
wearing all kinds of colors. Dog.
I need
he
him
looked
to-
like a pack of Skittles.
I want him to come back in that crossing guard outfit. Remember?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I do
Oh,
remember
my
that one.
goodness. Dude, their hats are solid though.
Yeah.
James Harden's and his hats.
That's for
they're
sure.
solid.
Okay, that's an easy one. They got it
I
sealed
mean, it's
up.
obvious,
They're
man.
gonna win the fashion championship for 2019-20.
You want to know what the worst fashion one is?
What?
The freaking bromance over in L.A. That famous picture of them wearing them suits. I'm just like, nah, man.
Oh,
from 2003.
Yeah.
With LeBron James in the middle with those parachute pants.
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah, that's a crazy one. And I mean,
LeBron stepped it up.
he's like
fashion-wise,
he's like a dad, man. He's
well,
like
he's not he's not trend-setting kind of fashion. These two guys are like,
Yeah, they
let
do
me
their
look
own
outrageous. Let me look as
thing.
outrageous.
Like
as
Russ
I can.
actually goes to fashion shows. He's invited to stuff. So
Fashion
like,
Week in New
yeah.
York and Paris. I remember when Kevin Durant used to wear that backpack and the fake glasses
Yeah.
in Oklahoma City.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone used to do that, man.
Yeah.
Russ had some too.
Yeah.
That was the whole
Yep,
phase.
yep.
The
That's
whole
a funny
fake
one.
prep.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, good time, man. Younger times. I was, I
Mhm.
was a young lad
So
back then.
this one here is one that's I get a little more serious, more about I guess X's and O's. Out of all these changes and these new teams or returning teams, who is the role player that will get the biggest benefit from the new situation? So I guess you could call him a breakout player. The role player will.
Oh, I know. It's gonna be. We talked a little bit about this team. It's gonna be Joe Ingles
Oh yeah, you think
in
so?
Utah. Yes, the addition of Mike Conley, really being able to be a floor manager. You know, make those smart plays, make those smart dishes. When you put Joe Ingles, he's gonna come off the bench. He's my early candidate for 6 man of the year if he comes out the bench. He's gonna be draining threes. Because you have to respect Mike Conley on ball.
yeah,
so-
that's for sure, and off ball too.
Yep.
Stroke it.
And you got Spider Mitchell. That's the other option. Like,
Yeah, I hope he
trust
can
me,
step it
man.
up.
Joe Ingles gonna be wide open. He's gonna be draining 15 a night, 5 for 5 from 3.
And he can run the pick and roll a little bit.
Yep.
He's got some length, some handle. He can pass a little bit. You can do a little bit of everything. He's a jack of all trades.
Yep. So that's my pick, Joe Jingles.
Joe Ingles. For me, I like Kyle Kuzma on the Lakers. I think I see him coming off the bench.
Oh, he's
Give
gonna
it-
start.
I think he's gonna start.
He's gotta
think he's gonna
They don't have the
Yeah,
depth.
he's got. They don't
That's-
have enough people.
He needs more opportunities to chuck it.
There's nobody
I
else who
think
can start.
he'd be better off coming off the bench because you get that consistent scoring from a guy. You don't have to have LeBron and AD out there, you know,
Okay.
fighting for them. And his defense isn't his hallmark; it's his scoring, right?
Wouldn't he benefit more if he was a starter though? Since he'd be on the floor with AD and LeBron.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
but
And
like, who do they have off the bench? I mean, yeah, you can stagger LeBron and AD, but who's going to be that guy? Who's
We
going to
got
get
Rondo.
the scorer? Rondo. Yeah, like
forget the GOAT, Jared Dudley. Need I remind you of Jared Dudley?
I forgot about Jared Dudley, but
Well, you changed your
he's
pick.
he's not that guy. I
Yeah,
could see
know.
him.
No, I could see. I think it's what Rich said though. Not enough depth. They would have to start him. I mean, maybe they can make it work. I mean, shit. Who's coaching
It'd
that
be
team?
like-
Jason Kidd.
Yeah.
Frank
I mean,
Vogel.
LeBron.
Frank Vogel, Jason Kidd, and LeBron all coaching.
Yeah, so
Who
that's
does he-
pretty interesting. I kind of have one to throw in on that one that y'all might not have expected because we're not talking about these guys based on all these changes. But I think Pascal Siakam, he's a role player from last season, but this
What
season,
duo is he benefiting
no,
from?
he's not from a duo exactly, but he's
He has to
going to be
step it up.
benefiting from the absence of
Ah.
he's got Marcus
He's gonna be
Gasol,
the first option
Kyle
now. huh?
Lowry on the team,
Yeah.
right? They're a duo. He's going to be benefiting from
Let me ask you
those
this
guys
question.
hooking it up. Dude, that guy could do everything. He
Let me
can
ask you this
run the
question.
pick and roll.
Chances he
spin
makes
moves.
remember
He'll be an all-star in 2019-20.
not even all star.
All NBA team. He'll get some third team votes.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
or
what I was thinking.
all NBA
Some
defense
third team.
also. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
That guy could do everything. He'll have a bigger role without Kawhi there, so it'll be harder. There'll be more attention on him this time. But if he can avoid the championship bloat,
Yeah.
go ahead and ask Dirk about that.
Yeah.
If Marcus Gasol, Kyle Lowry, and he cannot chug all the wine all summer long, and they can go in
They
there.
Oh,
still
Marcus Gasol
They-
is pretty
they,
lit,
They
man.
still have
He
a very
might take
solid
it off.
squad. They did
Yeah.
lose. They did lose a big threat in
Well,
Danny Green.
They won a ton without Kawhi. So yeah, I think
They
we're
had
gonna
Danny
see a lot
Green
from
on fire
Toronto.
during the season when Kawhi was out.
No, that's for sure.
Danny Green was on fire.
But I
during
just
the
think
regular
Pascal
season.
Siakam's going to make a
Yeah,
big leap.
I hope so. I hope so too. Happy for that guy if he could do that. Third
Yeah, that's a good
team
take.
All NBA would be so hype for him.
Just
He'd
forget
qualify for a Supermax, right?
I think so.
if
This
he
is his
got
third
that,
season,
yeah.
right? Or is his fourth?
He'd qualify for the Supermax after that.
This is fourth season. Yeah.
That'd be pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Opt in, yes.
Another
Let's do it
person
right
who Kawhi impacted in just 1 year.
now. All right, so
He doesn't elevate his game like that if Kawhi's not there.
Yeah, just being able to see what the kind of preparation and the kind of things that Kawhi can do. Like he was
Mentality,
a little bit like Kawhi light as far as the style of his gameplay
Yeah.
when he was playing last year. I think he can only go up.
Yeah, that whole team knows how to win now, so I expect them to do well.
All right, so you want to go ahead and run us through listener mail, JV?
Yeah, listener, we actually got a message from Kyle on Twitter. He says, which of the young guys do you think will do best in the league besides Zion Williamson? Or do you think this draft class will be underwhelming? Rich?
So I can't really speak to the draft class per se. I'm a big fan of the NBA game. I like seeing the guys that come out of college and prove that they can make it by actually being in the league after they get drafted. But that all being said, I like DeAndre Hunter. I thought Darius Garland was going to go for the New Orleans Pelicans before I learned that they were going to make the trade. They were going to trade the pick to the Hawks. But DeAndre Hunter can shoot from the three. He can kind of defend. And we all know Travis Schlenk, being a Warriors member of their front office or their ownership group, over now taking over the Atlanta Hawks. He wants to make the Atlanta Warriors, basically. He thinks Trae Young is the Steph Curry. Trae Young should take a step forward, diamond people up. I think DeAndre Hunter is going to make a solid debut, learning from guys like Vince Carter, and just a fun place to play. So I'm high on that guy. The rest of the draft picks, I can't really say whether they're all weak or not. What do you guys got?
All right, so I'm going to go for the weeb vote and
Oh,
say
yeah. Rui Hachimura.
the number 9 pick, Rui Hachimura, for the Washington Wizards. So he's going to get I feel like he'll get a lot of playing time there. He's 6'9", pretty athletic. He's like a rough Giannis, pretty much. He picked up basketball kind of late. The skills aren't as sharp as you'd like for someone who's picked that high in the lottery, but the athleticism is there. And I feel like he's got a good head on his shoulders. If he can, put it together, and if the Wizards can put it together, I think he'll have a pretty bright future. What about?
I think those are both two solid picks. I think the biggest person, there's two that I'm looking at, but I think the one I'd probably be more excited just to see how he develops is going to be RJ Barrett in New York. I think there were some people who were saying he might even actually pan out better than Zion. And this was early on. This was before the tournament, when Duke was on fire, before the Nike shoe exploded, all that. There was people talking about RJ Barrett being more NBA ready. And if you watch some summer league, granted Zion really only played like one game before he kind of got a little bit injured. And I'll talk a little bit about that right now as to why that happened. But
It's that earthquake, man.
RJ Barrett, a lot of people thought he was already more NBA ready. He's a better perimeter shooter. He can finish at the rim just as strong as Zion. Not as flashy. He doesn't have that same power, where he'll just elevate on a lob. He was the lobber, right? Which he was okay with doing, which sometimes you want from a star. You want a guy that's going to be unselfish. If you watched him in Summer League, he was shooting from the perimeter, shooting threes. He was very smart. He would slash to the rim and he could dish it out. Very LeBron-esque. I don't want to call him that, but it was very just
A balanced set
court
of skills,
vision.
yeah.
Court vision, just knowing where the open man was, making that pass, and the guy would drain it, right? Whatever happens there is up to the guy. But he's also in better condition, which I talked about a little bit about Zion getting injured. There was pictures out there. So people were calling him Dikembe Mo'Gumbo, things like that, right?
I've not heard that one.
He's
Gumbo.
Yeah,
I'm gonna name that title of the episode. That one.
He's built differently, so we can't put too much weight. Get it? Wait. Can't put too much weight onto what he physically looks like because he's just built differently. He's the second heaviest player after Boban in the league, but he moves at a ridiculous pace. When he walks around, you kind of see him. He walks a little bit like a penguin. I'm not making fun of his walking and anything, but that could have something to do with the weight, why he walks like that. But regardless of that, he's a freak of nature, right? That's why he went number 1, and that's why everybody was so hype about him in Duke, because it's like this dude's huge through high school,
Like a
right?
Shaq,
It's really
yeah.
just life, like larger than life guy, and he moved like a small forward. So that's why everybody puts so much stock into him. But RJ Barrett, he just seems smarter. Seems like he has a much higher basketball IQ. You can see that at Duke. You can see that in Summer League. His godfather is freaking Steve Nash. Who knows what that guy has put in his mind? And the winner mentality. You got a back-to-back, regular season MVP. Who's your godfather? You're learning some stuff, right? That's a huge plus, a huge bonus that Zion doesn't have.
And we all know he's gonna have all the opportunities to get the shots up.
Exactly.
Playing on the Knicks.
Knicks.
Exactly.
Yep.
My only thing, I'm excited to see him. My only thing that makes me feel like he could become a real superstar, I'm talking about a guy that makes all-star games, is can he bear the pressure, the unwarranted pressure, I should say, from the New York media, because they wanted you to win regardless of what the hell's around you, right? You should just come in and win. The first question he fielded after he got drafted was, "Are your shoulders big enough to carry the weight of New York on your back?" It's like, what?
He's like, I just got here.
Yeah, he just got there, and that's the questions. But that's the media, right? If he can bear that, if he can drown out all the noise, he can develop his game. He's already, like I said, he has a very high IQ. He can shoot from the perimeter. Probably be even a stretch four. He's a little bit small, but not too small to where I don't think he could play the four. He could be a very strong stretch four.
Was he 6'7"? Yeah,
And I could see him probably, early on coming out and out of the storming out of the gates and becoming an early favorite for Rookie of the Year. So RJ Barrett.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Another one is Ja. Only thing is the pace sucks in Memphis, so I don't know how explosive he can be in that pace. But RJ. What else we got, Rich? I think that was our last segment. Again, guys, I want to repeat what I said at the beginning about our social media. Make sure you check out our new Instagram page. That's Shotcallers. That's _Shotcallers on Instagram. We got some links to some of our other social media in there. We just launched a YouTube channel, so if you look for the Shotcallers on YouTube, you can listen to us on YouTube. We'll have some video on here soon. Some of it might just be audio, but whatever is most convenient for you. Check us out on Twitter at Shotcallers Show. What else we got, Rich?
Twitter on Shotcallers Show. Hit the hashtag Shotcallers Show. At the Instagram is _Shotcallers. In that Instagram, we'll have links to the YouTube channel. Like JV was saying, follow us there. Like, subscribe. Tell your friends in real life that like basketball if they want to listen to us. That's always great too. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got for
and huge shout out to Kyle again for that question. Very good question.
Yeah,
if you got a
keep it
question, just
Thanks,
shoot
Kyle.
us a message on Twitter at Shotcaller Show or to shotcallershow@gmail.com. We really appreciate all the listeners out there. But for now, my name is JV.
This is Rich.
And this is Andre.
And we're the Shotcallers. Catch y'all next time.